Good day, everybody. 20th of November 2025, and it is Thursday. And I've been doing videos on the other side once in a while, but I'm thought I'd come on this side and show you guys whenever I'm talking about the Hotel Willing, Coalition of the Willing, in other words. But this is going to be difficult. I kind of have some gloves on, and it's like -1, so it's and there's a little bit of a wind breeze, so it's very difficult to do this video today. Nice looking kind of old factory over here. Okay, starting off today, you know, you're watching what's going on with all this corruption in the world, and whether it's going to be Donald Trump, yes, I said Trump, I said Merz or Starmer or Macron or Ursula von der Leyen, all of these politicians, it's not that they're stupid. You know, Trump doesn't really act so much like he is stupid, but the other ones do. Like you see Merz and Ursula von der Leyen. Of course, you got your Baerbock and all that. They're definitely acting like they're stupid. But it's not that they are stupid. They act like they're stupid. And you know why? Because they think that we are stupid. They think we are stupid and that they don't see the writing on the wall. And, oh, we don't see this corruption. We don't see it. And too many analysts are coming out right now and saying that they know fully well about all this corruption in Ukraine. And Donald Trump, for example, you know, oh, the wind. It's this stuff with Epstein. It's like he knew. Basically, his administration, Kash Patel, everybody was talking about that this guy is a pedophile, and he's running all these other people, and he's working for Israel and all that. And then all of a sudden, at one point in time, Donald Trump kind of says, "Oh, this is all nothing but a Democrat hoax." You know, in other words, he thinks everybody is so stupid that they're going to fall for this stuff. So Donald Trump is very much one of these people as well. And then you hear Macron and all this, and then you hear about all of this money stealing by Zelensky, all this stealing of this money. And you know, this 100 million, that's just a little bit. Everybody knows that this goes into the billions of dollars. Everybody knows that. And there's a lot of these political analysts that know for a full fact that these people in Europe are very much involved with this as well, and they're stealing the money as well. They're fleecing it from their own taxpayers. It's undeniable. You know, but they say, like Merz and even Ursula von der Leyen, oh, they're caught stealing, so we have to send even more money. We have to send them even more money because they're stealing the money. So, oh, that really makes a lot of sense now, doesn't it? And I don't know, Viktor Orban came out, and of course his foreign minister, Peter Szijjarto, or whatever his name is, can't read it, it's got 2 Z's in it, and anyway, but these people, they're just coming out and calling like the calling foul on this stuff, and yeah, like they're not going to be that stupid. You know, I got a little thing. Let me read this first from Viktor Orban, what he wrote. Gosh, this wind is terrible. Blowing the pages around. Okay, what did Viktor Orban say? He made actually a long quote, I guess, on X or whatever. My bag is continually sliding down. I got to do something different about that. And here's what he said. He said the president of the commission is asking for nothing less than an additional 135 billion, but it isn't actually 135 billion. You know what it is? It's 157 billion. It says, well, we'll go down and do you even more, sent to Zelensky. So it's absolutely unbelievable. So some sort of a warehouse here. I wonder what is up there. I don't want to. This guy is interested looking all the time, so I don't want to put him on any kind of a spot. My nose is going to be running, obviously. So it's nothing less than an additional 135 billion over 2 years, he says, which is 65% of Hungary's annual economic output. 7 years of pensions from all Hungarian pensioners, and nearly 3/4 of the EU's annual budget. 3/4 of the budget of the EU. And she's asked, and that's the small number, the 134 what is it, 135? That's the 135 billion, which she actually wants to send even more. So this is absolutely incredible. It's 3/4 of the budget. Oh, how do I get over here? Why is it so busy here? I'm going to look at this car. This is pretty interesting. I wonder what this is. A new car of some sort. So, as you see, it's got the stuff on here. It looks like something pretty. I think this is a Russian car. Of course, anyway, I'm not here to look at cars. So 3/4 of the EU's annual budget. An astronomical sum that does not exist today. It simply does not exist, Orban said. So it's sort of, let me keep going. Even our grandchildren would be burdened with repaying the costs of the Russian-Ukraine war. Consider the fact that even most of the conservative estimates of at least 40% of the money that goes to Ukraine disappears. That's conservative. That's a conservative estimate. A lot of people have it as high as 60. So at the very least, all this money that gets sent to Ukraine, 40% disappears. That's the very, very least. And nobody has any accountability of it at all. And some say it's up to 60%. And that's after they started actually tightening down on the accounting of where this money goes. That's absolutely incredible. And you got to think that during the Biden years, when Joe Biden was sending billions, hundreds of billions of dollars with zero accountability, that is absolutely staggering. It's staggering. Absolutely incredible. So this area here that I'm going to at this moment is actually a party area. It really gets jumping in the summertime. So, I mean, it's kind of a large area, and but I actually, you know what? I've never been here from afternoons and evenings in this area when there's always a lot of parties going on. And this is even an unknown area to a lot of people that live in Minsk, and it goes down a ways too. So there's all kinds of parties and people sitting out here and whatever, but it's getting too cold, of course. Now it's not going to happen anymore. Let me go across the street. Most of the stuff happens over there as well. So you see a lot, like you saw some of the artwork on the buildings there. And this obviously in the past, and maybe still is to a certain extent, a factory area to a certain extent. Okay. So there is a representative from, oh gosh, music. Got to somehow hide this thing so the music doesn't get in here, because you know YouTube, if they can't make money from the music, they give you some kind of a strike and stuff, you know. That's how they work. They have to make some money. Let me walk over. I don't know if I can walk over there because there's music, but I think that is a sign. Remember, I went to Volkovisk, and I love Volkovisk, and I think this that symbol over there, if you can see that, like a wolf, that is a symbol of Volkovisk. Let's see. And that's that area that has Swedish Mountain and more music. I don't have the, some people have where I can deaden it. Anyway, if you see that little wolf, orange wolf there, so let's get out of here. And hopefully I'm not going to have this all shut off by YouTube, because they can't make some money from this music. Oh, that's terrible. I was thinking nothing would be going on and no music here since it's so cold. As you see, it looks like they're still serving, trying to get that last dollar. Get the last dollar. Window is open. Shawarma. Listen. More music. Every place is music here. At this time, middle of the day on a cold day in November, I can't believe it. Lennon over there and more music. Oh man. Maybe I gotta come here at 6 in the morning or something. Okay. Well, anyway, there's a senator, or not a senator, he's a representative from Tennessee. His name is Tim Burchett. And why don't I notice this music in time? I'll tell you what, every place here has music going, every single place. So I gotta maybe walk in the middle of the road and hope that I can do that. Maybe show you just some of these party places here. Whoops. Go Greek! A lot of things written in English, strangely enough. My backpack is sliding down. I'm making a fiasco out of this, aren't I? Let's see, drinks. Look at everything in English. Menus. Not in English there. Anyway, this representative from Tennessee, he's talking about about this corruption. This is a lot of corruption going on, and he was, I think, even mentioning that this corruption, that Nancy Pelosi is involved in, and of course, never punished for it. Only that everybody knows that she is corrupt. Everybody knows insider trading big time. And remember when she went to Taiwan and China was really ticked off and said, better not go there. And she went there anyway. She was going there because her husband is involved in the computer chip industry. And she was going there to facilitate bringing Taiwanese computer chips to Arizona. And of course, she's got a big stake in that. And she makes a lot of money in that and many other things there. She was actually getting information, giving it to her husband, so they know where to put their money and which industries are going to be doing very well and which ones are. She got huge returns, really far better returns than any business of the best business people on Wall Street. It was the Pelosi's, Paul Pelosi, as you know. And I wonder if they're playing any music. I can maybe walk over there. Big orange there. But anyway, this senator, or not, you know why I say senator? Because I think in the Russian news, they're calling him a senator. He's not a senator, he's a representative. Maybe they don't know the difference, I'm guessing. I don't even want to go over there because this is a construction zone everywhere. And, but he said that as far as the corruption in Congress is concerned, that Nancy Pelosi is not even in the top 10. She's not even in the top 10 most corrupt people in Congress. And obviously we heard about her the entire time. That's incredible. So it makes you wonder how far that really goes. And she made millions and millions and millions. And I'm thinking of, what was it, Senator Mitt Romney? I wonder what he was up to. I don't know. Is he still in the Senate? Did he get voted out? Or did he leave? I don't know. I haven't heard his name for quite some time. Look at this. Gee, these look, you know what? These are real. Those are real fruits. That's absolutely incredible. Huh. Anyway, if you want to come to this place, this is, you can get off at either metro stop. It's either Proletarskaya or Pierwszymayskaya, and it's not too far from either one. I guess it's a little bit closer to Pierwszymayskaya. So okay, he said there is when they talk about Vladimir Putin, oh, children, and I think it's Vladimir Zelensky coming up and saying, oh, those children, Ukrainian children, Ukrainian children. But for the most part, most all of them are accounted for. If they're not accounted for, it's because of Ukraine or the EU. Because a lot of them were taken to Germany. They were not taken to Russia. Russia has accountability for every single child that was taken to Russia, every single one of them. And yet you're hearing these accusations from Zelensky, or maybe even from the United States or Europe as well. But you don't hear it so much from the United States anymore, because this person named Melania Trump, she stepped in and she found out that this is nothing but a big friggin' hoax. So you have to give it to Melania Trump exposing a lot of this PR BS that's all untrue and a bunch of lies. So absolutely incredible. And I think Donald Trump very slowly, he either is learning or he already knew, or I don't know, about that this is nothing but a lot of disinformation. You can't tell with Donald Trump. He goes from one side and back to the other, and he goes again and that way. You don't really know. And let me tell you, this area, I mean, from what I saw out in front and wherever, there's a lot more going on here. It looks like they've expanded this whole place here to have more places for people partying. Look, there are people partying in there. I guess at the morning. There's probably just for coffee. This is called Red Coffee Store. So, okay, what else is this Tim Burchett saying? Tim Burchett, first you got to learn about a little bit about him. He's not, he doesn't sound like he's such a bad guy or nothing, but when you, he is of course taken in by Israel, and I don't know if he's I don't think he's an Israel firster. I don't think so. But he believes that everything that you get from Israeli intelligence, which, make no mistake, is very, very good, and there's some very, very good stuff. But they put out a bunch of fake stuff too in order to further their agenda in Israel. So a lot of lies, and they do forgeries and lots of things like that. So it's actually very nasty people, as you know, in the Mossad. And but they get a lot of good intelligence. But what percentage of it is all fake intelligence based on lies and forgeries and misinformation? I don't know. How am I going to figure that one out? Huh. Look at it, you can dance and listen to some music there. And so he's taken in. He's not necessarily, I don't know, so brilliant. And it's even like Tucker Carlson, Tucker Carlson, I mean, he's very good. I mean, I shouldn't even be talking bad about any of these people, but you got to be aware. Tucker Carlson, he gets taken in on a few things. He says there are no Nazis, and what else? And he says something about this Mamdani, anyway, this guy, this new mayor of New York, and he's saying that this guy said twice, and I didn't hear it, I haven't heard it anywhere. He said twice that he's going to charge higher taxes to white people just because they're white. And I'm thinking, I never heard that. I mean, if that was true, people would be playing that all over the place, and I'm not seeing it. So did he say that or didn't he say that? If he did say that, based on somebody's skin color or ethnicity, then of course maybe he is not such a nice guy. Anyway, keep my thing up here. I want a yellow ducky. Look at that. Not like electric or some nice cars here. Oh gosh, a car coming in. So happens he's parked in there, an American van. I'm just going to see this duck here. It's just an alligator. So what else we have here? Anyway, so 300,000 children are still unaccounted for in the United States that were trafficked there. That's absolutely unbelievable. I wonder what these things are here. See, obviously there still is a factory here of some sorts making something. I don't know what these things are. Okay. Anyway, like I said, he said Pelosi is not even one of the top most corrupt people in Congress. And I guess he probably sits on some sort of a investigative committee, so he should probably know that himself. Who's corrupt and who isn't. Anyway, keep in mind, nothing's going to happen to Pelosi. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. The rich people, they never have to pay. They never get in any kind of trouble. What did I just say at the beginning of this? You know, that they all know what's going on. You know, and they have to lie to us because we're the ones that they steal the money from. The top politicians. No. Nothing happened to Hillary Clinton either. Look at all the crap she did. Remember pay for play? That you don't even get to speak to Hillary Clinton or the State Department, that was in those days, unless you give a sizable donation to the Clinton Foundation. So you got to pay her private so-called whatever charity, which wasn't a charity at all. It wasn't a charity, and that's a proven fact, you know. And what is it, like Chelsea's wedding, I guess? I think Bono played at Chelsea's wedding. I mean, all of this stuff, and it was all paid for by the charity. And remember, even what was it, Norway? Norway gave $20 million to the Clinton Foundation, and along with a lot of other people, and it was supposed to be building, I think, 5,000 homes for earthquake victims in Haiti back then. And they hardly built any of them, and instead they built a big luxury resort for rich people with the money that was donated for that. And much, 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 much more. I mean, that's just endless. All the corruption, what the corruption that the State Department did in Syria, that's all legendary. But all this stuff, don't talk about it, because we're not supposed to know about this stuff. And a lot of time, obviously, it gets exposed, and it's so incredible and so dastardly and so corrupt that a lot of time we just forget about it. And there was somebody putting out a lot of things that I put in the video yesterday about this money that Ukraine, that Zelensky personally was stealing and sending it to the Middle East. It's 50 million. He said 50 million. All of the things that I said yesterday, and I was thinking that this, I said, I just said this stuff in this video yesterday from this guy. I should put that video up. I should find it and try to put it up on my site, and you guys can hear it from him instead of me. I don't know, if just in case people don't believe what I'm saying. I'm not saying I get everything right. Once in a while I'll get a few things wrong. Tucker and everybody does, I suppose. So anyway, okay, let's see. Already talked about that with Mr. Burchett. Okay. Now there's reports again, and this is stuff, it's like, oh, you know, you expect some kind of magic, that all of a sudden there's going to be peace in the Middle East, and Donald Trump making, oh, I brought peace to the Middle East. Well, he didn't bring it, and he didn't even, I mean, Israel bombed Gaza again yesterday. Or was it last night? I don't know. But yesterday they were also bombing, massive, massive bombings of Lebanon. And I guess meanwhile, old Netanyahu was touring some of his new lands in Syria that they stole from Syria just a month ago or 2 months ago. And yeah, so, and of course they expanded already a little bit into Lebanon, but he's getting ready. It looks like they're bombing and softening things up because they're going to take a little bit more. I mean, they just keep taking more and more territory, but oh, no. They need it for security. So, and they... Even for many years, they already, what is it, the Sheba Farms, they've already secured. They just keep taking more and more. And of course, what do they? They have hundreds of years, so they'll just keep taking more and more gradually. But of course, right now, it is actually expedited because they have their president in there, which is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is definitely, well, I don't like to use, like I said yesterday, this word Christian Zionist, because there really isn't. In truth, Donald Trump is Jewish. He's Jewish. There really is no such thing as a Christian Zionist. So it's like, well, how does that work, you know? It's the people that killed Jesus, and they even say they'll kill him again if he shows his face on earth. Then there's Christians that are partners with them. Does that make any sense to anybody? So, Christian Zionists. contradiction of terms, obviously. They're just, or maybe what you could call them what they really are. These are just subservient to Israel. These are people down on their knees and doing this to Israel and oh Israel. I don't really understand that these people have no pride whatsoever. Christian Zionists like Ted Cruz. I mean, you'd think Ted Cruz. I don't know. Are they wimps? Are they wimps? In a way, obviously Donald Trump then must be a wimp, because I don't know if he's even Christian, and I don't even pretend to be Christian. I don't know what I am. I believe I like all people. Anybody that doesn't harm anybody else, it's fine with me, as long as you don't, do nasty things to other people. They're acceptable to me. So, and I guess since I do have a worship for Jesus, there's no doubt about it, and in that case it makes me a Christian. But then I don't believe everything that's in the Bible, so then in that case I'm not a Christian. So what am I? I have no idea. So you guys decide. I'm not going to just rotely believe something like the Old Testament and even the New Testament that was not written by God, by the way. And even if, Charlie Kirk says it was, it wasn't. I looked through there and I don't see, written by God. It doesn't say that in there. It was written by human beings. Human beings are fallible. And Jesus didn't write it either. If Jesus wrote it, maybe I would start to think about actually believing it, but Jesus didn't write it. So, I'll walk a little bit more around here. This area. Look at a little bit of the artwork, graffiti. Okay. So anyway, there's a lot more dead children. They're bombing. They've even bombed children that weren't born yet, fetuses. Absolutely terrible. And there's some very, very terrible footage, I guess. Where am I at here? Well, everybody's coming and loading here. I'll walk over here anyway, because I don't want to be standing here waiting for this truck. So let's see what this part is over here. Dandyland. 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 That's a nice coat, kind of, isn't it? Oh, I got a nice coat too, I think. Löwenbräu, German beer there. Looks like a jazz club up here. How do I get an impression like that, huh? How do I get that impression? Manon bar. Whatever Manon means. Oh boy. Get some crazy lights in there. Okay. Oh, these plants. Probably fake bamboo. You couldn't have real bamboo still growing at this temperatures. I don't know. Okay. So they bombed Gaza, like I say, and I think they moved a lot of these people out of these certain areas. But obviously a lot of people were dead, a lot of footage, and some things are so very, very, very terrible that you can't see that it is a human being ever. All you see is stuff that's inside of you, like your organs, just a big pile of organs. And talk about really sick stuff, but that's what Israel is really into, as you know. And that's an undeniable fact. It's really terrible, and you have the United States running cover for them. A lot of people are really disgusted with this relationship. Anyway. What is this club here? Some people still going to clubbing here. Look at that. That's I don't know. And at this time in the morning, it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, not the morning. It's maybe 1 in the afternoon. Okay. Anyway. Like I said, I don't know. I've said some of this stuff already. But you obviously see the result of all this what's happening here. You have these people getting bombed over and over and over again. I guess in people in Palestinian, the West Bank and Gaza, they've had to rebuild their homes 3 times. because Israel is always bombing them, or bombing and destroying their homes. And even if now they're a little bit nicer, they say, okay, well, we're going to bomb this town, we're going to bomb this area. And it's like, and they say they're bombing the infrastructure of Hamas or Hezbollah or something like that. So it's obvious that Hezbollah and Hamas, if they were there at all, they're gone. They left. So, you know, Israel tells them ahead of time. And what about this infrastructure? Well, what is this infrastructure? I mean, what is it different? What is different when they destroy this house or that house to another house? What's the difference? You know, they'll move somewhere else, Hamas or Hezbollah. Gosh, you know, like I said, they think we're stupid. And like I said, a lot of this intelligence from Israel is very good. I don't really know how they know that. Maybe they put computer chips in a lot of people. They knock them out, and they don't even know they have computer chips. I have no idea. So they know where they're moving. I have not the faintest idea. And I'm not sure that they're even, half the time they're not even bombing any terrorists, they're just bombing people. So, get away from the noise here. But as you know, one of the major reasons why they're doing this is to keep, and the United States, of course, is in full favor of this. They are fully in favor of it, especially Donald Trump. He loves it. They keep wanting to, you know, you already see that Donald Trump, he wants to, the United States has one of their doctrines is to try to keep everybody undeveloped as they possibly can. And these damn Arabs, they just keep on rebuilding and rebuilding their thing. And, you know, you got to keep them bombed into the Stone Age, I guess. And Israel wants to be, obviously, the most advanced. And if you ever talk to Israelis, I've talked to some Israelis, and maybe the rest of you guys have too, and they try to sit back and make fun of all these Arabs and see, oh, look at these people, look at how behind they are and all that. And it's like, well, maybe it's because you keep bombing them behind, isn't it? Maybe you keep destroying their factories and destroying everything that they have. Is that the whole deal? And then what is the result of a lot of this? Oh, they get tired of that, and they move to some place like the UK or to Sweden or to Germany. They move to those places. And then they want to set up maybe a similar culture in these European countries as they have in their country. And so now we're all angry at them, you know. Some of them probably are terrorists. Maybe they're on the run. I have no idea. They're used to a completely different culture and a different way of life. And a lot of times the very worst ones get sent, or they move to these countries, other countries in Europe. And they feel maybe that these European countries owe them something because they're the ones that are bombing them into the Stone Age. I have no idea. You know, you got to go ask these people. So why do you go and steal things from the shops and things like that? I don't know. And then maybe they can't cope in a different culture. And I'm not sitting here saying, oh, we should mollycoddle them. I'm not saying that at all. I just think we should stop bombing their countries. I mean, and bombing and helping Israel. And Israel, they want to be the dominant force and control everybody and gain all this territory. They got to keep on trying to get more and more settlers to take over more land. I don't know. So each settler gets acres. Yeah. And then they say they're anti-Semites. Look they hate us. We're just nice people. Why do they actually hate us? Look at this here, people, this car. At one point, I don't know if it's still true, but it's a Citroën. And they even had these back a long time ago. It's a French make, of course. And extremely economical. You get to go a long way on a gallon of gas. So these are very economical cars if you see them somewhere. So some more artwork over here. So I wonder what is the biggest threat to peace in the world? What is the peace and freedom and all that? Well, it's friggin' Israel. Israel, who virtually owns the entire United States federal government. Well, it's friggin' Israel. They run the entire foreign policy. I'll tell you what, if they want, they can control probably everything in the United States. And you know, they got Donald Trump by his gonads, of course, there, pushing him on his knees in front of them, and he can do the circus seal on Benjamin Netanyahu like he does all the time. Benjamin Netanyahu said, oh, well, we're a sovereign country. Well, what about all the other sovereign countries that can't do 1/10 of what Israel does? It's because the United States keeps them down, but they don't keep down Israel, because Israel tells them what to do. It's not the United States telling Israel what to do. Israel gets to do anything they want to do, and nobody can say anything about it. Boy, I tell you, I was over there. Remember, I didn't want to go because of this building here, and I don't know, did I walk over this way or not? The wind is blowing. Kind of miserable. I really got to go inside soon. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Anyway, you guys all know that the masters are Israel. That's the masters, probably of even Europe. Unusual. A lot of people running around out here in the cold. Oh, it's music. Oh gosh, can't go in there. Was gonna go in there. Oh, what do I do? I'll tell you what, let me walk down through this way. If I go fast past this music here. So, Trump's, so far, his peace plan is nothing but a joke. It's a big joke down there. I mean, they're still bombing Gaza, even though they've just quieted down for a little bit. It's just probably Trump to, oh, just keep it down during my presidency for the you guys can keep doing some bombings. You can bomb over here and bomb over there, but just go way down and just to make me look good, make me look like the peace president, and then you can go full force again at some point in the future, after I've been labeled the greatest president of all time. Okay. So I guess it looks like we've been what are we doing now? We have moved from, as far as corruption in the world is concerned, look, there's a Tundra, an American pickup truck. So we've moved from ancient times where we worshiped the golden calf, you know, in Israel, the golden calf, and now we are worshiping the golden toilet of another Israeli satellite called Ukraine. No? Makes me wonder, are they just partners, or does Israel rule Ukraine as well? There's something going on there. A lot of these corrupt people, they went to Ukraine. I mean, they went to Israel when they got run out of Ukraine. I'm not just talking about Zelensky's parents, you know. But there are, and as a matter of fact, I think they were in Mossad. They said that Zelensky is not even a Jew. But he is a Jew, of course, but he's not an acceptable Jew because he supports the Nazis. I don't know, but those are maybe Jewish people that do have a conscience. And you never know anymore. I guess people do what they're told to do by their masters. And the masters are either your political masters, or they're your ideological masters, your religious masters. And in Donald Trump's case, obviously it's Zelensky. I mean, it's Netanyahu. So, yeah. Talked about that's land they took already. This news of Donald Trump supposedly given the CIA, and that's maybe not put out yet in any real official channels, that Donald Trump gave the CIA permission now to take out Maduro, to assassinate him. So I don't know. It's not anything new. They've had permission for a long time, and I think Donald Trump probably would have loved to see that long ago. So, like I said, it's not new. Maybe they have a different plan to do it a different way. I'm guessing. So, no. But I don't know. A lot of this is similar anyway. Donald Trump trying to get the resources of Venezuela, and that's what it's all about. Everybody knows that, unless you're pretty dumb. And Israel wants more land. Ukraine wants to spread their ideology and dominate over the Russian peoples and everything. So actually, as you know, Ukraine had a plan. They had maybe their Erots Ukraine, and they wanted a lot of the territory that was part of Russia. That was supposed to be the eventual dream, is to even get Sochi and Tuapse and Krasnodar, as well as Belgorod and all those areas there. So they wanted everything to the east of Ukraine, what was the old Ukraine, which actually was Russia anyway, and they wanted to take even more of that. So is this a school? Young girls in there? I want to go there. No, I don't know what it is. You have no idea. Some crazy guy back here watching all the girls and me too. No, I don't know what he's doing. So, Erots Ukraine. Maybe Erots United States. Oh, I'm sick of this. This coat, the things slip on here. Oh. But this deal that Donald Trump is doing here, and it's kind of reminiscent a little bit of like what Adolf was doing in Germany. Adolf, as you know, I think it was September 1st, 1939, when the war started. Well, some people say that that's when it started. Maybe it's the 3rd of September in 1939 when I think it was actually what happened was Great Britain and I think France declared war on Germany, and Germany just I guess invaded Poland at that time. But right away, right after that, a couple months later, I think it was in April, I think it was April 9th, 1940, Adolf invaded, or he used airborne soldiers on Norway, and of course he was trying to secure an energy supply. It smells kind of like beer. There must be, or hops or something. Oh no, I think this is a bakery. Right here, to be honest with you. I guess your nose can tell you a lot. So, but Donald Trump now trying to secure a lot of the resources, which one of them, the main one, is oil. And of course there's gold in Venezuela as well. And wow, you got a lot of goodies. And if you, and I think this Mercado, I think that's her name, this one that got the Peace Prize, that is not a very peaceful lady at all, and is begging Donald Trump to come and invade and bomb her own country. That's somebody with I guess that's par for the course of who gets the Peace Prize nowadays, like Obama, the drone president, the bankers president, and all the wars that he started, Syria and Lebanon, and Syria and Libya and who knows who all. He actually even started putting assets all over into Africa. The son of Africa, I guess that's what Gaddafi called him. But how do I see that was some kind of a bakery? I guess it's the next building over. This is some kind of municipality building here. Okay. But a lot of people around. I don't know. I've been in this area before, even in the summertime, when I saw less people walking around in the daytime. They're all over around here now. Yeah, and I already mentioned a lot about old Ursula von der Leyen. She's really, really frantic trying to flood $157 billion into Ukraine. There was an analyst, I can't remember his name, but he was from Switzerland, and he was saying something to the effect of all this money that they're trying to put in there, they have to keep this corruption going. Or how did he say that? He said it because of the corruption, and he's meaning not just Ukraine, of the European Union as well. And I think he was even referring to, a lot of people keep referring to this 1 billion euros that was done in secret with Ursula von der Leyen for these vaccines and all that sort of a deal. And and she destroyed all her emails and things like that. You know, it was a big theft of money, of course. But they said that in order to, I think it was, how do I say that? I should have wrote it down. It was about the corruption, to keep the corruption going. Let me get my thoughts here together. And they have to keep the war going. They need this. They need the corruption. Yeah. To keep the war going, they need this corruption. They need the corruption to keep the war going in Ukraine. However, they cannot win the war in Ukraine because of the corruption. That's what he said. That was pretty interesting to hear that. So, as long as this corruption continues, the war, they can't win the war because, I don't know, it exposes them. That's pretty interesting, if you ask me. And it was like, what did I say that yesterday? Orban, another thing he said was that for them, this money that Ursula von der Leyen is trying to get the EU taxpayers to go into debt for a generation, more than a generation, you know, to send more money to Ukraine. And I got something good to say about that too, and it comes from Maria Zakharova in a second here. But it's like Orban said, it's like trying to cure an alcoholic by sending them a crate of vodka. And in other words, they're not trying to cure the alcoholic, and they're not trying to stop the war. They want this war to keep going. Very, very important for them to keep the graft going. It's absolutely incredible. And if the people of Europe actually looked at this as they should be looking at this, every single man, woman, and child would be marching on the streets from these really corrupt people, stealing all the money from the people. It's absolutely unbelievable. And you have to wonder which Pandora papers, or Pandora's, or it was Pandora and Panama Papers, where they're stashing all of this money. Merz, you know Merz, he's got a lot of money probably from BlackRock. BlackRock, the richest organization on the planet, richer than any country. And he was their shoehorn getting BlackRock into Germany. So he's got a lot of money somewhere. These people have these golden parachutes that we can never even imagine. So just so you guys all know that. Yeah, I don't even want to think about it, to be honest with you. So anyway, well, let me keep going there. There was a video put out by Tucker Carlson saying that Mamdani, I think I told you guys that. Yeah, I told you already that he was, Mamdani is saying that white people have to pay more tax. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, there was another person that said something very accurate. It was a statement by a Russian political analyst. His name was Sergei Stankovich. I'd hate to have a Stankovich. You Stankovich, you. What he said, this guy is, in essence, it said it's impossible to believe Zelensky was unaware and uninvolved, while everyone around him was stealing hundreds of millions of dollars, and which, it's actually stating the obvious, and so many people know that this guy was sending this money to. I mean, that's just one allotment that Zelensky had is the 50 million going to the Middle East. Wow. Incredible. And so many people are also saying that all of these corrupt people are going to continue to support Zelensky, because there's so much invested into Zelensky, and for them to groom somebody else like Zelensky, it would be a bridge too far. So, wow. And of course, other people are saying that they used massive PR companies and everything to build up this stuff about Zelensky. And as you all know, you saw Angelina Jolie and Sean Penn and who knows who, everybody and their brother that are celebrities. They were all paid huge sums of money. Some of this money that, of course, has been stolen from all the taxpayers in the West to pay all these people to go there and act like they support Zelensky. And maybe they do to a certain extent, and they were paid very, very well. And I can't remember, it was a huge amount of money. At least I think somebody said it was like recently, Angelina Jolie, she got nearly $1 million, I guess, for her visit recently there. I don't know. Okay. And this thing I was telling you about, Maria Zakharova, wow. She gave her opinion yesterday evening. It was just, I don't know, hours ago, not even a day ago. And further revealing what she said, and I put out already a few days ago, that she said this corruption is global. And I think when she said global, I'm thinking she means actually it's throughout the entire continent. It's not just Ukraine, but also obviously it has to do with the United States, with certain people there. And I'm not just saying like Keith Kellogg, whose daughter works in Ukraine, and she makes a lot of money. So that's one lever over into the United States. But obviously Ursula von der Leyen and Merz and all these people, they're profiting very handsomely from a lot of this stuff, stealing the money from their own people, doubling down and say, well, there's a lot of money, it's been caught, lots of corruption, so we have to double down and make even more corruption, send even more money. Like I said, Hungary is just shaking their heads and saying, well, what? That doesn't make any sense, so it's not just me saying that, It's not like me being a crazy man, because everybody notices this, anybody with any sense. Solve corruption with more corruption. Solve alcoholism with more alcohol. Wow. Okay, but she's maybe just saying it goes beyond the borders of Ukraine. It might even go further. It might even go into South Korea and Japan. You never know. I think it actually does, to be honest with you. I think you can draw some parallels and some connections with Ukraine and Taiwan and Japan and who knows what, South Korea. Okay. She said about the top EU officials and Ukraine corruption, she said, this is a quote, they were participants in these schemes themselves. That's what I just said. They knew exactly where the money was going because they were part of the financial networks benefiting from these flows. So what she probably means is like maybe the banks and things, the banks that are tied in with these officials there in the European Union, like Ursula von der Leyen. So they knew how much and they knew exactly where it was all going. I'm just guessing from that. We may never know exactly. Okay, and Yermak, Alibaba, they're trying to make everybody think that Yermak, make him kind of like the fall guy, like he was the guy that was doing it all, and obviously he's involved, and he's the at least in this corruption. You know, there's Mindik, obviously Mindik, who is a business associate of Zelensky, and Yermak, of course, he's probably just one of the facilitators, you know, one of the strong men to enforce a lot of this stuff on where all this corruption is going and who gets paid and how much they get paid and what percentage. And it was already, you know, by this NABU, they were already figured out, and they said a lot of people, what it was is they get a 10% or 15%. So, you know, as it goes down the line, this person gets 10% and the next one gets what's ever left, 10% of that, and it keeps on going like that. So, you know, the stealing of the money. So, but somebody said Yermak could not have done it without Zelensky's knowledge and approval. And I guess that was Mykola Azarov, who was nothing, who was the former prime minister of Ukraine and knows exactly what was going on. So he knew that Zelensky was actually the guy that thought up all the plans. Matter of fact, that's what he said. Zelensky is the one that thought up all the plans, and of course the strong man for the most part was Yermak, and but it was Zelensky. It was Zelensky doing this whole thing, and other people have said the same thing. So he's the one that came up with all the plans, and they're getting he's getting whitewashed. They use that word, whitewashed. So the European Union is whitewashing Zelensky in order to keep him there, to facilitate this more graft, more stealing, to keep this thing going as long as they possibly can. You know, oh, he's an innocent guy, you know, but a lot of people are saying that he's not going to last that much longer. They're just trying to milk it as much as possible. Ursula von der Leyen to get some more, maybe some millions. Makes you wonder if at these last maybe month or 2 months or whatever time, maybe just weeks, how much they're going to be stealing just in that period of time. You know, Merz and all of these people. So that's why they're trying very desperately, as fast as possible, to shove some money, to steal this money from the taxpayer funds and shove it all to Zelensky as fast as possible. And you would think that somebody should be exposing that in Germany and the rest of the European Union, that these people are desperate to get Zelensky this money as fast as possible and get it into their Pandora papers and Panama papers, bank accounts, wherever the heck they're going to be laying. Absolutely unbelievable. Yeah. Okay. On Tuesday, it was the Deputy Prime Minister of Ukraine. His name is Chernyshov, and he was arrested for using money that was allocated. I mean, I don't know, maybe this guy was actually probably one of the most mild people, and that's why they arrested him, because he, you know, the big ones, they're gonna either let him flee the country or they're gonna cover for them somehow and say, oh, they're perfectly innocent. So this guy, this Deputy Prime Minister of Ukraine, Chernyshov, he was arrested for using the money that was allocated to protect power plants. You know, I think maybe put up air defenses around, I'm guessing, and to protect the power plants, and instead he used the money to build luxury mansions south of Kiev. So just on the outskirts of Kiev, they put up some luxury mansions. They didn't say that they were his. I wonder if they were Zelensky's, and I have no idea. But anyway, they said luxury mansions. They just didn't mention who was supposed to own them, be the owners. And another funny thing that was put out, Emmanuel Macron, the leader of France, he put out that he trusts Zelensky to tackle the corruption that's going on right now and get a grasp on it that's going on in Ukraine, which is absolutely. So in other words, I mean these people, all these partners in crime, it's just unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. The lengths that they're going to go to try to see how much they can keep pulling the wool over everybody's eyes. And it's mostly, obviously, the people, they should be really, they should be outraged. The people of France and Germany and all these countries, they should be on the streets right now, every one of them. Don't even go to work. Don't go to school. Get everybody out on the streets. These people are just stealing. You work hard and they're stealing all of your money and giving it to Zelensky. Oh, Zelensky gets a major part of it. You know, they get some weapons. Makes you wonder if they get a kickback as Zelensky takes a certain percentage of these weapons and he goes and sells them in different countries, you know, and probably all the leaders in the European Union, they get a kickback from the percentages of the weapons that they're selling abroad. And I already mentioned yesterday about all of the other things that they're involved in. They're involved in these phone scams. What do they call them? I don't know, call centers or something like that. And they call and they rip people off of their money, and they somehow get like the tack into their bank accounts and drain them dry. You know, old ladies and things like that. Really terrible, and it's an epidemic in these countries over here, like Belarus and all that. Like I said, they mention that in the metros, and they're warning people to not fall for a lot of these schemes of people calling you up and saying, oh, you forgot to do this, so now there's a big penalty and we'll take care of it, just give us your bank account number. I don't know, whatever ways they possibly know. They're all very, very well trained on how to get your money. You know, it's okay. And the head of NABU, Semyon Kryvanos, he said that the agents trusted to investigate they're being followed by unidentified people. They're being followed and they're getting death threats. So these agents that are doing all of this investigation in Ukraine of finding out all of this stolen money, and like I said, this 100 million is nothing. That's nothing. It's into the billions. So anyway, these people are all getting threatened, and I guess 2 or 3 of them were already arrested by Yermak. Oh, none other than Alibaba himself. Anyway, so these people were arrested, and there's still one, and then even some of the Ukrainian people are protesting on the streets to let these people go, these agents that were investigating the corruption. And as you know, like 7 months ago or something, a lot of this corruption agency was, to a large extent, a little bit under control of Zelensky, and he was trying to get full control of it. You know, and that's what Macron is trying to do right now, trying to get Zelensky to have full control. So it's like have the fox guard the hen house, I guess, is what it's all about. So incredible. Ukraine was caught also trying to poison a Russian officer with a banned British nerve agents. It's banned. It's world banned. You die a very, very painful death. I remember, like I said, I went to some chemical training and all that in the United States Army, and you hear about some of this stuff. It's really, there's some very, very, very bad chemicals, and there's and some of this stuff, like if you breathe in some certain gases or something like that, your whole insides get blistered and everything, and it's very painful. And this one, I think it's a 20-minute. They listed this stuff that they put it in beer. Anyway, it's in British beer bottles. So this was done. The British, along with the as usual, the British and the Ukrainians. All of this nasty stuff, this sabotage and this killing and all of this stuff that's going on by the Ukrainians is done in conjunction with the British. It's pretty much always. They're they're far, far, far more involved in doing all of this nasty stuff in Ukraine than, of course, the Americans are. And of course, luckily, Donald Trump is bowing out a lot of that because he's realizing that they can't win. If I'll tell you what, if Donald Trump knew or had a very good thought that the United States could win a war there, because he wants to end the wars. A lot of these big politicians, they don't want to end the wars because they bring in a lot of money. But anyway, I think he likes to see the war ending, of course, but with the total victory for him, and no matter what. But I think he sees that it's not going to happen with Russia, so maybe that's why he's actually trying to bow out of it. Or he thought he found himself a very perfect thing where he's just selling weapons to the Europeans, and they can just keep the war going as long as they want. Might even still be that way. You never know. But anyhow, so the British, they had all this stuff, and they mixed it with beer, and they gave it as somebody, probably they're not saying, oh, I'm a Ukrainian and I'm going to give you a gift of beer. I don't think it was going to go like that. But anyway, the FSB caught this guy, and they even have that on videotape where they're catching this guy, and I don't know, trying to give it anyway into British beer bottles, or British bottles of British beer. Okay, the U.S.-Russia peace plan, I should mention that. Trump's 28 points 28-point peace plan by Witkoff, I guess, presenting it. It does not mean that Russia has approved of it. So it's because I guess it's based on what was happening in Alaska and Russia, their demands and all that. So I think Donald Trump is kind of finally getting the notion that that Russia wanting peace is not a sign that Russia thinks they're losing the war. She's finally said, maybe they're not losing the war because they're actually gaining more territory, and And so he's saying, okay, well, maybe we ought to get Zelensky to actually go along, and Zelensky. But of course, Donald Trump, as I mentioned a few days ago, and you guys already know, he's trying to put some sort of sanctions involved where anybody that does any business whatsoever with Russia will be severely punished. And that's what he said. I don't know when that's supposed to take effect, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know. You'll see. You can't bring Russia to its knees. Maybe. I tell you what, it looks like they're still doing business with India, and Donald Trump is saying, India said they're not going to be buying any oil from Russia anymore. But I don't think so. But one of these parts of this peace thing that Donald Trump is trying to put through is, as you know, Russia does not yet have all of the Donbass yet. They haven't got all of that back. They haven't liberated that, which of course used to always be Russian territory. None of the people in the Donbass ever wanted to be a part of Ukraine, even when Vladimir Lenin, back in whatever year that was, in 1918 or 1920 or something, he gifted it to the region of Russia called Ukraine and attached it to it, and they never wanted to be a part of that region anyway. But nobody really fought so much about it back then because it was all the Soviet Union anyhow. But now that after the independence thing, they don't want to, and then Ukraine came up and said, you better speak Ukrainian, you have to get rid of your language, Russian language, and you better disavow all of your culture of Russian culture, and you will worship Ukraine, the Ukrainian culture. And then they said, well, we don't really want to do that. We've been Russian for hundreds of years. So anyhow, but Donald Trump is saying that Russia, instead of what Russia wanted, which was that Ukraine has to evacuate those areas that have not yet been liberated by Russia, Donald Trump is saying that Russia should rent them from Ukraine. So rent that part of Donbass from Ukraine. And I doubt very much that Russia's going to go along with that, Anyway, so, and I'll tell you what, I bet you Ukraine's not even going to want to go along with that either. And of course, Ukraine, one of the things is Ukraine is supposed to cut their military in half and some other stuff. But anyway, to me, it sounds like it's at the very beginning. So this is not necessarily, and they're saying, this time it might just work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Anyway, I'm getting cold here. Okay. And what else? Oh, and there'll be a ban on long-range missiles, and so none of that stuff works anyway. And Trump wants to sell javelins to India, lots of javelins, to use against Pakistan. So I guess that's the peace president. Okay. And anyway, that's about all I have to put out. It's a little over an hour. Again, I have to remove my glove even just to put this thing on stop. But I'm cold and have to find a men's room somewhere around here. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.